Nobara Kugisaki. What makes her so badass? Is it her attitude? Her beauty? Her fashion? Her power? Or is it her madness? Today, I talk about Nobara Kugisaki and what makes her so badass. What's up, everybody? It's Fabio Poe. You know this, bringing you guys today a character discussion or a part 2 to the series of what makes them so badass. I'm going to be talking about my favorite character in Jujutsu Kaisen, Nobara Kugisaki. I'm going to be talking about why she's so badass today. This video is going to be full of manga spoilers. So if you're not even caught up, don't even bother. It's going to be full of manga spoilers. Unless you want to get spoiled and you want to just learn about the character, then shit. Some people like doing that. So this is where this is going to be. I'm just gonna talk about some things that I like about the character, why I think she's just such a badass, and this and that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what better place to start than Nobara's introduction? We first get introduced to Nobara in chapter 4, Girl of Steel. And Nobara, she's introduced in a scene where some dude is asking reluctant women if they're interested in modeling. All these women are saying, I'm good, but out of nowhere, Nobara, she grabs this dude's shoulder mad aggressively and says, hey, what about me? Now, why bring something up so small? Well, I'll get into that later. Now, when Nobara, she actually ends up joining up and meeting with Fuchiguro and Yuji, you automatically see her judgy character as she immediately casts judgment over them. Just saying that like Yuji basically looks like a dumbass, and that Megumi is probably just some edgelord psycho, shit like that. So it's pretty hilarious. So you see that she's a very animated character and also not afraid to let you know how she feels. She also thinks very highly of herself, as you can see when she walks up to the guy and says, hey, I can model. I'm pretty confident, and then, yeah, shit like that. So Nobara, she moves to the city, and I want to bring this up because we don't know much about her past. She moved to the city because of a girl named Saori, I hope I'm saying that name right, who moved to her village from Tokyo. And not much is known about this character. In chapter 5, page 7, Nobara says that she wished to see Sasori again. Where she went, she doesn't know yet. So Nobara even goes as far to say that she'd die if she stayed in her village, which I think is more of a figure of speech than actually death. Nonetheless, Nobara definitely has a past that I can't wait to see more about, because something happened with this girl that came from Tokyo to her city. And why did she want to leave her village? Not much is talked about with that. Now, next I want to talk about Nobara's power, Straw Doll Resonance. Now, I'm reading this straight from where it was explained from chapter 61 off the Viz. This is exactly where it says in the manga. This is where I'm reading it off. This is what I'm going to go off. So the Straw Doll Resonance applies cursed energy to an opponent's body part using an effigy. This technique causes damage to the targeted area. The range of the technique varies depending on the opponent's skill level and targeted body part. All these factors influence the technique effectiveness. So, what does that really mean? Let's break it down. So, effectively, what Nobara needs is to actually activate the resonance. She needs a piece of the curse or the piece of the item to effect it. And we see this multiple times in multiple cases. And I'll give you guys some examples. Alright, I had to go get my volume real quick. So we see this at chapter 5 start. So if you remember, they got that ugly ass fucking looking demon curse thing that looks like a fucking it's an abomination. It's horrible. But anyways, they save that kid from the demon, and it jumps out the window and escapes. Now, like I said, this is chapter 5 start, and Nobara says, Itadori, give me that arm. And what she does is she uses her resonance with the cursed energy's body part, the piece of the curse, the arm, with her straw doll, her effigy, as I was explaining before, and attacks it right through the heart of the doll, and I'll put this on the screen, right through the heart of the doll. And the heart, where the part of the doll was hurt, that's where the cursed energy is killed, etc. Now, another good example of this is in chapter 41, page 9, when fucking Kugisaki Nobara is fighting Momo. And you might not remember who Momo is. She's the girl at the Goodwill event that has the fucking dumbass flying broom. We'll talk about her later. She's brought up in the video later. But if you look on this page, Momo says, even if I fly a little lower, you still can't reach me, and kicks her down. But this is why the fights in Kaisen are so good, because Nobara understands this, but she knows her own weaknesses and understands her powers very well and how her resonance works. So she grabs and aims for the actual straw of the broom, tries to grab the piece of the cursed object of the broom because it's magic, and she gets it, and it's enough, and applies it to the resonance and activates it, and so the girl can't move. And then she proceeds to mollywop the shit out of her. We'll come back to this fight, but I just wanted to bring that up. That's another example of Nobara using her resonance in an even more clever way, because she used it not to necessarily kill her opponent, but to immobilize her opponent. Okay, next I want to talk about Nobara's other resonance ability that I think we've only seen used one time in the story against those two dudes. I forget the names. I'll put them on the screen. But resonance is described right here in the page. When it comes to the straw doll technique, blood is not important. Resonance depends on the connection to the opponent. Kugisaki's blood is strongly connected to those thanks to the Supreme Rot technique. Now, what this move is basically her ace in her hole. She actually turns herself into the effigy and puts her life on the line in an ultimate gamble and starts wounding herself to affect her opponents. Now, I don't know if this attack is exactly stronger than her normal one, but it's definitely just badass. It's just badass that she would just go this far to do that. And we're definitely going to come back and talk about this. One of my favorites. This is some of my favorite chapters, but I just think that's fascinating that if the circumstances are correct, she could pull out an ace and potentially kill herself to kill her opponent if they're strong enough. Just think about that. That's kind of crazy, if somebody touches her one time, or they connect, or they're close, if the circumstances of the situation call for it, Nobara probably has, she could probably kill herself in exchange for killing an opponent that's probably stronger than her. Not saying she would do that. I'm just saying that that's the kind of thing that this blood resonance straw doll technique that it can activate. Now, I just did some extra fact checking because I just wanted to see what different people thought. So I went on the fucking wiki, and they have two different attacks for resonance. They have one called the sympathy and then the regular resonance. And then I went to the scans, and the scans way back whenever chapter 60 came out called this attack sympathy. Now, I'm gonna go with the viz on this one, but if you guys know something about that, the difference, if there is a difference or there's some translation things going on there, do let me know. I don't speak Japanese. I don't know nothing about the sliders with this. I'm just gonna go with the viz on this one, but if there is something there, I would like to know about. I just wanted to throw that out there, that I saw two different things with that. Now, Nobara's strongest physical attack would probably be her hairpin, as we see in chapter 61, which is one of my favorite chapters ever. Nobara activates her hairpin, and basically it just obliterates and absolutely destroys just anything in its path of massive amounts of cursed energy, as far as I can see. We also see her use this in chapter 41 against Momo to destroy trees, to get to destroy shit, so it's hard for her to fly so she can get in. So that's it for Nobara's powers that it is right now. I just want to talk about them. And then I know I didn't cover Gojo's powers when I did his video, but I'm not trying to fucking have a headache and be here for 72 hours trying to explain this man's powers. But yeah, so now that we're done talking about Nobara's powers, I think it's good that we can just move on straight into some of the more character sides of her, and the things that she says that I really like about her. Because her powers are really cool. I think her powers are really cool and interesting, as she also uses hammers to beat in her opponents. We see her use rubber hammers to mollywop people. She hits her opponents with nails. It's very interesting. She's not really a hand-to-hand person, which is why I like her. But now let's talk about more of her character side and the things that she says and some of the dialogue that I really love from her. Now let's go to the Goodwill event, and let's talk about when Nobara fights Momo. Now, we go to chapter whatever. I think it's 40. Yeah, 40. I believe it's chapter 40. And Nobara, she's getting worked by like an upperclassman Momo who tags her on the face with the broom. You know, and then Momo and her exchange a dialogue, and this is when Momo tells Nobara, a scar on the face is a good thing for guys, but not for girls. You think the world of sorcerers is based on skill? Even if a girl is skilled, if she's not cute, she's looked down upon. Of course, if she's only cute without any skill, it's the same. Women Jujutsu sorcerers aren't expected to be skilled. They're expected to be perfect. And Mai has to deal with even more discrimination than that. Nobara replies to her, yeah, I understand that you're incredibly annoying. Now, this is funny because it just shows you that Nobara, she just wants smoke. Like, bitch, shut up. We gonna run hands or not? But let's continue. Now, Nobara continues and says, does that mean we have to forgive the unfortunate no matter the circumstances? And if someone is blessed with a fortunate life, do they deserve to be ridiculed? It doesn't matter how she was brought up. I don't like her. And even though they grew up together, I really like Maki. What do I care whether somebody's perfect or if something's fair? Is life your job? Is your life just a job? And then she continues to go on. Boys versus girls, give me a break. Just shut the hell up. I love dressing up and looking beautiful. I love being strong. I'm Nobara Kugisaki. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but this is when Nobara became a GOAT. I remember reading this chapter weekly when it came out, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. This is I'm here for the long haul with her. Like, I'm here with Nobara. Like, that was some GOAT shit that she said. Maki told Nobara that she wants to be a Jujutsu sorcerer despite lacking curse energy, just to piss people off. And then Momo brings up everything Mai has to go through as part of the Zen family, the pressure of being a woman of such a highly valued family. And Nobara basically says, cry me a river, fuck that shit. Saying her and Maki grew up the same, under the same circumstances, but Maki didn't come out an edgy asshole. Now, while I do understand why Nobara doesn't necessarily like Mai, knowing the context I have now as the reader, because you know I'm a reader, I'm gonna save this for another video, but I view that I see the community usually takes Maki's side in that exchange and the goodwill event, but I look at it a different way. But I got a video for that coming, talking about that. But now as for Nobara's boys versus girls comment, I think you can interpret it a lot of ways. So I'm not gonna say, oh my god, mine's a de facto one, but here's what I think. I believe Nobara's point is that fuck what people think about you and what they think you should look like or how you should act. And the reason I say this is because Nobara says that she loves dressing up and looking beautiful. I love dressing up and looking beautiful. I love being strong. She does that because she wants to. She states that her name is Nobara Kugisaki. That it's a declaration. She's doing these things because she wants, not because it's a societal norm, not because of this and that and so on. You know what I mean? Like, she looks beautiful for herself. She's strong for herself. It's stuff like that that makes her really cool and really badass. And I almost feel like she's telling Momo, don't try to diminish what what Maki is doing by trying to because you're trying to throw her in this box as if she has to do this because of this family still. No, it's her own will. It's not because her family's making her want to. It's not because she's a woman and that she should act like this. It's her own free will why she's doing this. And I really love this moment, man. It's why Nobara is the GOAT. And it's one of the many reasons why the women of Kaisen are some of the best women in Jump right now. Now, next up, I want to talk about Nobara and my favorite moment of her. Probably my favorite moment in the entire series. This 3-chapter span, I believe from 60 to 63. Just absolutely phenomenal. And it has some of the best dialogue in the series, I think, between the conversation between Yuji and Nobara after this fight. And I'm definitely going to make a separate video on it because the way that they're depicted in this little in this arc, in this fight, is insane to me. they're villains. The way that they look so evil. It was so cool to read this on the weekly experience. But let's get into it. I want to talk about Nobara's madness. Now, excuse my language. I mean this with all respect, but let's keep it honest. Nobara is a psycho bitch. And that's what I love about her. And I think that's what a lot of us love about her too. She is absolutely crazy. She will do a lot to win. Like, she's nuts. Most of the characters in Kaisen are nuts. And I'll always bring this up because it's a common theme in Kaisen. Madness and power. Madness and power. Those two go very well and go hand in hand in Jujutsu Kaisen. Wherever you see power in Kaisen, you'll see madness. Even if it's from the main cast. It's very, very interesting. And I think it's a really good take on, like, it's a deeper subject, but I'll even get into that in another video. But we're going to talk about Chapter 61. Yuji and Nobara are in the pinch versus Izo and Kechuse. Oh, I butchered it. But yeah, we're about to talk about that. Now I'm not about to go great into detail with this fight because you can just go read it. Chapters is out, Viz is free. You know what I mean, $2, just go pay for that shit and read it. But if you're here, you probably read this, so I'm gonna just talk about it. So as you know, Yuji and Nobara, they're in this fight versus Izo and Kechuse. And Kechuse and Izo, they inflicted, the supreme rot technique decay, but they made a mistake. Because of Nobara, as I explained earlier, when we were talking about her power, the resonance, the connection that she needs, the power, the contact of the blood that the supreme rot needed to kind of like the blood technique where the supreme rot needs to connect was the necessary counter for Nobara. She was just their nerf, which is why she just got here. But anyways, Nobara says that I'm a bad matchup for you, and I cannot wait to hear that in the anime. Oh my god, it's gonna be so cool. And then Nobara then uses her straw doll technique resonance, but she uses it on herself this time. Instead of actually pulling out the doll as she usually does, she uses her own body as the doll. And you can see that she's stabbing herself through the forearm with nails. And then how can we forget the best scene? It was my favorite scene of Nobara so far, outside of the dialogue I'm going to get to in a little bit. I already talked about her hairpin, but man, oh man. So we already know, you already read this. They fodderized them with the black flash and the this and that, the 0.001 second, all that crazy Jujutsu Kaisen space distorts, the crazy shit. And Nobara, she turns her back, and the younger brother is still up, you know what I mean? He's still awake. And Nobara says, something along the lines, I haven't showed you this yet. And then uses her hairpin technique to just off the younger brother and just destroys him. Just kills him immediately, just offs him. And Nobara, this chapter was crazy. I was losing my shit reading this weekly. This ending, that's how you end a panel. Nobara is strolling up to the other brother after just killing the last one and saying, "Don't worry, I'll send Big Brother your way soon." And there's just the face, the blood raining down on her everywhere. Oh my god, I just cannot wait to see this animated, to be honest. Like, I'm just fanboying over Nobara while I'm recording this video, but I'm serious. Like, it's insane. Like, it's like she was going crazy, and it was so malicious. There was no empathy. It was get these niggas out of here. And that's important, and it's something to bring up that I'll talk about later. But Nobara and Yuji, they find out that these things are flesh and blood and not curses. They're not disappearing. They're actual things, like living beings and shit like that. And it bothers them for a second, but they know they gotta get them out of there. But that's not important because I'll talk about that in another video. Like, I'm gonna talk about this whole couple chance. I might talk about this whole arc because this whole arc is important. But let's talk about the dialogue between Nobara and Yuji that happens after. In chapter 63, Accomplices. This chapter shows also another side of Nobara that I really love. Her kindness and her love for her comrades and how she cares, but she does it in her own way. And it's almost very stoic, very hero-like, very strong. Like, you don't really, like, and this is why we love the women in Kaisen, you don't really see this happen a lot of times with female characters inside of shonen, or like, well, let me not say shonen, let me say battle shonen, stuff like that, the most popular ones, because there's so many shonen to read that there's probably more wonderful female cast. But in the popular battle shonen series, typically tend to be male dominated, and then the female characters are always trying to chase the main character, this and that. But we all know Nobara doesn't give a fuck about Yuji. So, but I'm going on a tangent. That's besides the point. This is in the 63 accomplices. Nobara and Yuji share a dialogue after the exchange, the fight. And Yuji, he asks Nobara if she's okay, because the curse technique. Because she says, "I'm fine." It'll leave a scar. The wounds will leave a scar. The poison, I might, they'll get that fine. They're all good. But Nobara notices that Yuji is acting weird. Now, I don't know how to talk about this without including Yuji's dialogue, so I'm gonna just include it. But Nobara asks Yuji, "What's up with you? You're acting weird." And then Yuji replies with a question of his own. "Isn't this the first time you've killed something instead of exercising it?" I also like Nobara's response, because she asked him a question to his question. "What about you?" "I have once." No. Oh, this is Yuji speaking. "I have once." No. Saying once is kind of misleading. It was 3 people. And then Nobara replies again, and this is when I really like what she's about to say right here. "Aren't you the one who should be having issues here? Honestly, I don't really have a problem with it. As Jujutsu sorcerers, these kinds of things happen. Not to quote Fushiguro, but there's only so many people we can save. And if you haven't been in my shoes, then I don't want you telling me what's right and what's wrong. Is that cold? Well, I guess there are people like you who do their own thing. I'm not sure what to say, but I don't think we've been given much of a choice. If they were flesh and blood Jujutsu sorcerers, it would have been impossible to keep them restrained for long. You know that, right?" But Itadori replies, "But he was crying for his brother who died in front of him." And then Nobara stays silent. "I see." And then Yuji replies, "I'm happy that you and I survived. I'm relieved. Even so, because of the life I took, tears were shed. That's all." And then Nobara replies, "Yeah, then I guess that makes us accomplices." Now, this dialogue is wonderful on both parts. I could talk about it for Yuji or Nobara, or both of them together. It is what it means for the series, and it's not like a shipping thing. It's like the actual camaraderie with their partners, as in partners. They're Jujutsu sorcerers who go and exercise. What I'm talking about, and I really appreciate how Nobara gives Yuji comfort in her own weird way here. She's not the type of character or the type of person who's just gonna come out and say, "Oh, Yuji is this, is that." Like, she kept it real with him. We had to do this. They didn't give us much of a choice. It was us or them. It's unfortunate, but they had to go. There's only so many people. And then she asked him if he was the problem with this, because we all know that Yuji, he wants to save people, and he thinks that people should die the right way. If you read that in chapter 1, I mean, come on, and this and that. And she gives him that comfort in her own weird way, saying, "We're accomplices. It's not just you. You don't have to shoulder this burden of this death, of this life that you took alone. I did it. I took a life as well, right here with you. We did it together." And that's her own way of comforting Yuji and trying to help him through this. So she's not the type who's gonna hug him. She's not the type who's gonna, like, this and that. She kept it real with him, that they had to do it. But she also knew that it was weighing hard on him, I believe, and was there to tell him that we're accomplices and that she'll shoulder this burden with him. Last, I just want to talk about lighten up a mood a little bit. Just want to talk about Nobara's goofy kind of side to her kind of more lighthearted side, as we talked about the more depressing stuff. Just to end on a light note, her comedy is hilarious. Her bits, her being a country girl in a big city, Like when she was like, when the Goodwill event happened, and then she was like, she brought the luggage, and she was like, are we going to Kyoto? And it was like, no, the Goodwill event is with Kyoto. We're not going there. They're coming here. It's with them. And she was pissed, stuff like that. Or when she found out that Yuji was alive, and then she made him put the face portrait over his face, like he was at the funeral, and he was like, do I really have to do this? She was like, just stand there and shut up for a while. Or also, the infamous "Is It Like That" chapter, which is an amazing chapter, by the way. "Is It Like That" is just a hilarious, good little middle chapter that we needed. When Nobara meets up with the girl from Yuji's past, and that she likes him, and she is like, "Is it like that?" And then Fushiguro comes in and is like, "Oh, it's like that. It's like that." It's great. So yeah, just wanted to talk about this. Nobara is just a fun, witty character, man. She snaps. She's not afraid to let you know what it's like. She's funny. It's great. She's a great time in the series. What a wonderful character. I love her. I'm here for it. That's gonna be it for me, guys. Those are just some of the things that I think that make Nobara Kugisaki just such a badass, such a cool ass character. Do y'all like Nobara? Do y'all not like her? Tell me what you guys like about her if you do, down below. Tell me if you guys don't like her, down below. Maybe things that you don't like about her, or things that you do. What's good? Who's the best girl in Kaisen? Who do y'all think? I think it's Nobara, but that's why I made this video. Yeah, make sure y'all like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.